This video is sponsored by One Page Rules.
3D printing. Some people love it, some people hate it. But is it causing damage to the hobby at large? Let's talk about it. Hi guys, my name's Josh and this is the Pickle Jar, and today we're talking about 3D printing. I've been 3D printing for about a year. I've had a printer for about a year and I've done various different things, so I thought it's a good time to talk about it, especially because there's been a lot of talk in the community recently about whether this is damaging the hobby.
Now, this is not going to be a video that talks through all the ins and outs and the technical details on how to do 3D printing. This is more about my experience with it and whether I think it's a good thing or not for the hobby. For this video, I'm going to be using some of the Rat Men miniatures from One Page Rules, who are the sponsor of this video. I'm using these models because I recently started a skaven army and I fancied using some alternative sculpts and models for some of my special weapon platforms just to add a bit of variety to the army. Now, One Page Rules are some of the best supported miniatures that I have 3D printed this year. I have never had any problems with them, and they also offer a massive variety of models from all kinds of different sci-fi and fantasy models. It's amazing value for money, only £9.50 a month. You get access to a massive range of models every month, and then anything you've missed or you want to go back and pick up, you can go back and pick it up over on My Mini Factory. Make sure to use the link down below in the description and check them out today. If you're getting into 3D printing, I can't recommend any other company as much as these. So through this video, I'm not really going to go into all the arguments that I've seen around online. I'm not going to go through and try and defend 3D printing, because there's people out there that are far more experienced with 3D printing and with the technicalities of sculpting and things like that. I think what I want to do with this video is talk about my own experiences over the course of the last year, what I've liked, what I've not liked, and what it's allowed me to do. Now, the first thing that I really struggled with when I started 3D printing was the technical side of it, on what you need to know, how to troubleshoot if you are getting misprints, how to properly scale things if you need to change the scale, and how to do the settings. Now, since then, I've learned quite a lot. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, I've spoken with people that know what they're doing, but also the slicing software that I use has got far better, and you are now able to just download user-created profiles for different printers and resin types that does it all for you. You just select your printer, select your resin, and you'll have a list of loads and loads and loads of different user-created profiles for that printer and that resin and what settings to use. And you can download that and it does it all for you. So that's the first thing that I had issues with. Kind of sorted itself out. The main issue that I have with getting misprints is either the room not being warm enough, especially in the winter, or the bed not being level, which is an easy fix. And if you're 3D printing, you need to learn how to level a bed. So that's kind of on me for being a bit nervous. It's big technology. It's, always scary trying something new. The second thing that I had issues with when I first started 3D printing was the models that I wanted to print. I started off, I got loads of models, and a lot of them were not supported, or if they were supported, but they weren't supported well. And it was a bad experience because I was printing stuff, I was leaving it, I was, going out and doing whatever, coming back, and then I'd get home to a misprint, and then another misprint, and another misprint. And it got to the point where I was kind of like, I can't believe the 3D printing is as popular as it is. I seem to be getting no good results. I'm getting bad results every time. Now, again, this is something that I've found since then, is that there is a difference in supporting. Some people are better at it, some people are not great at it. One Page Rules, thankfully, are some of the best supported miniatures that I've used, and it's generally why I will now only use models from a select few companies. Unless sometimes I'll try a one-off model and see how it's like, or I'll get reviews from other people. But One Page Rules are on my A-OK list. I've not had any issues with any of their miniatures. All the supports have always been fantastic. But it's always bad when you sit and wait for however many hours, or you set a print going that's like a 9-hour print, you leave the house, you come back to find that you've got a couple of supports on the print bed, and that's it. Loads of cured resin in the vat because it's not printed properly. Now, on to some positives for 3D printing. Now that I've talked about a couple of the negative things that I had issues with at the start, which are all kind of learning experience things. The positive side is that it's allowed me to do loads of cool stuff. I have used a load of the Saurian one-page rules miniatures, the Saurian Starhurst, for my Stargrave warband, Stargrave crew, as it were, because I quite like the idea of having a spaceship piloted by lizard people with guns. I didn't have access to that before, or I would have had to kit bash it manually, and I'm not great at kit bashing. Whereas with this, I can press print and I can do it. If I wanted them to be a bit bigger, I can upscale it and it's no problem. If I want them to be smaller and use them as little markers or tokens or something, I can do that as well. 3D printing has kind of opened up a whole other side to the hobby this year for me, and it's allowed me to do loads of different videos and loads of different personal projects that aren't even for any games or armies or anything, that are just painting projects. It's also allowed me to have more accurate things to test colour schemes on, and by that I mean, if I'm wanting to paint something new, like my Skaven army for example, I don't have to try my colour scheme out on the official models. I could, for example, just print some of these off and try my colour schemes out, and then if it's not worked, I've not got to mess about stripping and cleaning and trying to make sure that the models are tidy enough to paint again. I could just print some more. Or I could strip these and repaint them, and it's not as big a deal if I don't get them completely clean, because they're just cheap 3D printed models. Having that ability to sort of print stuff and not worry about stuff as much, if I'm getting the colour schemes right, if I'm painting something right, if I'm ruining a model, having that anxiety taken away because I can always just print more, is actually really, really beneficial for me anyway. I don't know if that's something that other people deal with, the anxiety of ruining a model. I'm presuming it is, otherwise none of us would have piles of shame sat in his houses. Starting 3D printing about a year ago now has been a bit of a journey. I've gone from being really excited about it to being really not bothered about it because of user error and issues that I was having, to back to being really excited about it. The fact that I can now print stuff like this off and use it as alternatives in an army, because I'm using these for my special weapons bases in my Skaven army, as well as the official sculpts, just to add variety in there so it's not the same 2-3 models repeated over and over and over again. I think it's really cool. And I think it's cool that more and more people have got access to this sort of thing now without having to be amazing sculptors or kit bash experts or being able to make stuff out of green stuff and things like that. The fact that I can just click print, a few hours later I've got more models that I can add in. I think it's fantastic. It's safe to say that my journey with 3D printing has definitely had its ups and downs, but I think I fall strongly into the I kind of like it camp. With companies like One Page Rules providing absolutely top tier STL files that are superbly supported, it makes that journey and process even easier.
I know this has been a little bit of a different video, a bit more of a sort of talking ideas sort of video, but I hope you've enjoyed it all the same. If you have, leave us a like down below and a comment letting us know your thoughts. And if you're brand new, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to support the channel, the best way to do so is by joining our Patreon, linked down below in the description. I want to say a massive thank you to all our current Patreon members, without whom I wouldn't be able to continue doing what I'm doing. I wouldn't be able to afford to do all of the things that I do. So it's a massive, massive thank you to all of you guys. Other than that, we've got all our affiliate links linked down below in the description. If you want to pick up any hobby supplies or a new project, it gives us a kickback and it doesn't cost you guys anything extra. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you in the next one, and until then, enjoy your hobby.